Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Titi.
Hi, I'm Nanika.
We are from Team T5 Research. We are from Taiwan. The topic of this presentation is exploring Yosemite, abusing macOS 10.10. There are more and more people using Mac. During these years, we spent a lot of time doing security research on Mac OS X. It is quite interesting. We majorly focus on the system security, such as rootkit techniques, or privilege escalation, or exploit malware. So it's like more low-level security issues. And since early June, May or early June, Apple announced the beta of Yosemite. We have decided to see the difference about 10.9 and 10.10. And we want to see the security improvements and to see is it can against malware or rootkit. Is there any security enhancement in kernel or user mode, and there is any new security mechanism. So we start this research, and we have some findings. And in this talk, we are going to discuss several techniques to abuse Yosemite, and we are going to release a scanning tool for public for free. We implemented a tool that we can check the kernel, check the system. Is it infected by rootkit? Yeah. And coincidentally, Yosemite has just been released last night. And so today, I can have this chance to share with you this research. All right, so Nanka and me founded Team T5 Research in Taiwan, but actually we are doing cyber threat research, cyber threat intelligence research. We monitor, analyze, and track cyber threat throughout the Asia Pacific area, especially the cyber espionage attacks. And we are also very interested in vulnerability research. So not only analyze the exploit that has been used in real attack, we also happy to look problems for new platforms and new technologies. So we are members of Change Security Group, and the Change hold HitCon every year. And HitCon is one of the largest security conference in Asia area. And this year, we have more than 1,000 attendees. So it's kind of big. And this year also, we sponsor a CTF team, and we got the second place in the DEF CON CTF final. Yeah. And I am the organizer of HitCon. All right, so here is a short introduction of my company, my team. Yeah, so we are intelligence expert and provider, and we track and we monitor cyber threats. And this is a little bit about myself. I'm the leader of Team T5, and I'm interested in many fields like vulnerability and virtualization security and and Nanka is our chief researcher. He's a well-known vulnerability researcher and has been disclosing new vulnerabilities for many years. And he owns several CVE. And his major area of expertise include vulnerability research, exploit techniques, malware detection, and mobile security. And recent years, he started his exploration and discovering problems in Mac OS X. And Nanka and me frequently give presentations in Asia security conferences. And this is first time we can present research in Europe. First of all, I would like to appreciate ISI partners. They support us a lot for doing this research. Okay, this is the agenda, the content of my presentation. So we were introduced at the first we want to review previous works of Mac OS X rootkit. Yeah, and then we will start tell you how to start a malware or rootkit, and introduce some new tricks. And also, we will introduce a way to bypass kernel module verification on Yosemite. And also, we will discuss more details about kernel rootkit and user mode rootkit. And the last part, we will introduce and release our tool, the System Virginity Verifier for Mac OS X. Yeah. Okay, so in this section, we are going to review some previous works of Mac OS X rootkit. This is the Rublin rootkit, and this is the most well-known rootkit, and it is open source. And it was released for disclosure in 2012, and claim the capabilities that you can see, like it can hide files, hide a process, hide a user from who or W, and doing some rootkit basic functions. And also, it is already 2 years old. It is still the most famous rootkit on Mac OS X. So we are going to focus on the process hiding techniques to discuss Mac OS kernel. Yeah. And we will also like to mention volatility. Volatility is a well-known memory forensic tool, and volatility supports Mac OS X as well. So it can detect Rublin, of course. This is the current nice, good rootkit scanner that we can get. So if you know any other good rootkit scanner for Mac OS X, please let us know. And we are very interested in this. So, and this is also because that we cannot find a good rootkit scanner. So we decide to implement our own tools. Okay, also our friend Pedro, he is one of most well-known Mac OS researcher. And in April, he published this paper on FRAC. And so he introduced a lot of rootkit tricks. We learned a lot from his paper. Yeah. So if you would like to start rootkit research, this paper might be a good start. And most of rootkit techniques he introduced in this paper is kernel function inline hook. So we also implement this detection in our tool and use this rootkit to test. And we here we have short and also previous work, because we published some research in Black Hat Asia in this March as well. So we will also like to review some findings as well. So in Black Hat Asia we released a way to we disclose a way to implement advanced rootkit can bypass volatility detection, and also we introduce a way to make a privileged normal user. I will show you details later. And also we introduce a way to direct access memory from user mode. Yes, user mode process can access kernel mode memory directly. And also, we introduced a way to load kernel module without warnings. Yeah. And some of trick is still works, so I would like to mention here. The first is if you would like to grant a process for root permission, you might need to start from here. You will give process set UID to become the UID of the process. So the process can have permission to do things. And I would like to mention this first, that in following slide, when we explain techniques and details, we will also use Windows as example, because to help you use Windows as example to help you to understand more easily, because I know more people are more familiar with Windows Rootkit, because Windows Rootkit, there are already a lot of research on Windows Rootkit. So I will take some example to help you to understand easier. And in this case, grant permission to a process is to modify process token. Like, I mentioned in the below part that Windows doing this, how Windows doing this. Okay, so usually if a user wants to do privileged things, he needs to use SU or SU2 to become super user, to become root. And in last presentation in Black Hat Asia, we introduced this technique to grant normal user privilege. And as you can see on the screen, that this user is a normal user. UID is 501, but this user can load kernel module. So here, there is no kernel module. This nanika.true, this is our malicious kernel module. And this user can load this kernel module without any warning and won't be blocked. And after load, you can use KEXT stat. You can see this kernel module has been loaded. So this is looks like a normal user, but it can load kernel module. How do we do this? Because of host privilege. With host privilege, you can do many things. At least you can get into kernel with this privilege. At least you can load kernel module. So it is not a bug or vulnerability. So it still works on Yosemite. So rootkit, this is one of the rootkit trick that when you install your rootkit, you can grant this permission to use this to the user. And the user won't be like suspicious, be found, because it is just normal user. Looks like normal user. Okay, and the second trick I would like to mention is direct kernel memory access. We introduced these techniques, and this technique help us to access kernel directly. And for more details, you can refer to this blog post. Pedro gave a very detailed explanation for this feature, or you can call it a vulnerability. Pedro called it a vulnerability. It still works on Yosemite. So that is how we implement the SVVX, System Virginity Verifier X. We use this technique to access kernel memory, to check kernel memory directly. So if this approach got blocked, our tool won't work, and we have to find other way to get into kernel. So we use this trick to access kernel memory. Okay, so when we start doing Yosemite research, Yosemite has not been released yet. So it is kind of tough. It is not easy because they keep changing things, and they keep changing data structure. They keep changing source code. So when we implement some POC, and then next release they changed, so we have to change again. And because this version is under development, so source code has not been released yet. So we have to do reverse engineering every time to check the data structure, to check the source code, to check the binary. So it is kind of tough. And so we spend a lot of time to analyze. And finally, yesterday, it has been released. But we are going to release some tool, but not now, because we haven't have chance to test the latest version yet. So after tested on the latest version, we will release the tool. Okay, so the UI looks different, right? Many changes to the UI, and you can see the text bar, right? Does it look familiar? It is definitely not like Windows text bar, right? Okay, so first thing, we want to make some diff. Diff 10.9 and 10.10. And so we give it yeah, diff. So we dump. We will release data. We dump a system code table and Mac trap table, IDT table, and there are actually many new functions, new APIs in this table. So, but we don't have time and we no documents. So we don't know what new API is actually doing. So, but we provide this data. If you are interested, you can review this data and to check new API, new system code. What is it? What is purpose? Okay, so this is the data we will give you. Okay, so yeah, talking about rootkit, you have to know, you have to think about how to start your rootkit. So here I would like to mention some techniques to start the rootkit. And also we will introduce a trick to start malware or rootkit. Okay. The first, loading rootkits like program start in Windows. So in Windows, you will like put this your executable in this directory, right? Startup directory. And on Mac OS, it is similar. Just put things in this directory. Yeah. And the first two is users directory, folders, and the last two is system folders. So you can start your program. And the second is DLL. If you want to start your like malicious DLL, on Windows you can use this trick, use this registry to start your preload your DLL. And there are also similar functions on Mac OS X. So you just update plist file and change this variable, and then you can make some DLL to be preloaded. And here I'm going to show you some trick. It's not very like, but just it's a trick and kind of useful. So file extension. This idea is also from Windows. You know, there's a Windows file name with file extension, and with file extension usually associate with some program, right? Then change this association. You can like make it to execute the program that user didn't expect. So this API, it is in charge of this setting. So using this API, you can change the setting. And the settings is actually in this CSS store file. So in real example, it's like this. Yeah, the file association setting is here, and each user has its own setting. So here, the first one is normal user, and the second one is the root file extension setting. Yeah, so here I'm going to show you a demo. All right, so first, when you open this file, it simply trigger the QuickTime to see this video, right? Okay. And after we click this app is change the file extension association settings. And then we open this again. And it also trigger calculator here. Yeah, so we just simply change the files extension settings. Then you can bring your malware rootkit up. Yeah, so actually, many rootkit tricks that the idea is actually from Windows, because there is already a lot of research on Windows rootkit. Yeah. Okay, so this section, I will show you bypassing kernel module verification on Yosemite. Okay, so on Mac OS 10.9, if you want to load a kernel module, the first, you have to put kernel module file into this directory, system library extensions, and run kext load to load the file. And if the kernel module is not signed, OS will pop up a warning message, just a warning message. So on 10.9, you still can load a kernel module that is unsigned. However, on 10.10, this got blocked. So instead of a warning message, it blocks the kernel. It blocks the kernel module loading. So when you try to load an unsigned kernel module, you will get this warning. You will get this warning. So it will show like invalid signature of this kernel module will not load. So yeah, officially it blocks the unsigned kernel module, but yeah, it is actually we can use some other way to bypass the verification. So our technique is we can load a kernel module from any path. No need to be put in the path that I just mentioned. And also, file is actually not required. You don't have to implement a real kernel module file. You can use it from like a memory chunk or from network. So, and also, our technique can load kernel module without any verifications and no warning message, totally no warning message. And actually no need to patch KEXTD or other program. This is how we load the kernel module. We just call this API and KEXT request API. And this API is in charge of the kernel module loading, and it won't verify anything. It will verify the data structure you give him and some settings. So you have to make things correct, and then it will accept and load this kernel module. And here I would like to also mention is I just mentioned that in the beginning, right? So loading kernel module doesn't have to be a root. You just need to have the host privilege. So the source code is like this. If you on KEXT request only check host privilege. Yeah, so if you have host privilege, you can load kernel module. Yeah, so use this approach, then you can load kernel module. I will have a demo later. Yeah. So, okay, so continue. We go on to discuss kernel mode rootkit. Okay, so. Where is the first question? Where is the kernel? On Windows is usually this file, right? And the OS kernel. And on Mac OS X, before 10.10, it put in root directory, Mac kernel. But since 10.10, it moved to system library kernels. In this directory. So it's very little change. And for this discussing in terms of the process hiding, usually the rootkit use the direct kernel module, kernel object modification to hide the process. So usually, like this picture shows, that just unlink the linked list. Usually, process is managed by a linked list. So we just unlink list, then we can hide a process. This is a very basic idea. And let's take a look at the process structure. So the first one is the linked list, process linked list. So plist is it's you can find one process one by one via this list. And actually, if you take a look more detail, that you can find here is a task point. So process will link to a task, and in task structure there is also another linked list there. Yeah. So that's how we make it different. So detecting Rublin. Rublin only unlink the process list. So Rublin didn't unlink task list. So we just checking for the Rublin. We can just verify the task list and to see is process list matched text list. If it doesn't match, it shows some process got hidden by Rubelin. So we use this approach to detect. Okay, and Rubelin cannot hide from active monitor because active monitor check text list, not process list. And Rubelin can only run on 10.7. Yeah. So it's just example there. It couldn't run on the latest version of macOS. Okay, so we not only unlink plist and task list, we also unlink all possible linked lists. Try to hide this process. So after we unlink all of this, before 10.10, we can bypass vulnerability check on 10.9. But because volatility doesn't support 10.10 yet, so we cannot test. But we think our approach can still bypass this detection. So hide it. So currently we know it is. We can say it's completely invisible in kernel mode to hide the process. So, but hide and detect a process is like a cat and mouse game in kernel. So when you disclose your way to hide process, that is definitely a way to detect. So someday they can detect, and someday they can. You have some new approach to bypass, then they can try to detect again. So yeah, it's a cat and mouse game. And this history is already happened on Windows, right? So this is a demonstration how our rootkit works. Okay, so in the beginning we start a calculator. And then we start activity. 여기 하나 와. calculator哪里？ 你怎么？
你在外面，你应该在里面开。你要在里面开，不是外面开。你现在是开到外面。
哦。I'm sorry, too nervous. All right. Okay, so we start calculator here, and we can see calculator from activity monitor, and now we start to load our. This is our kernel module, our rootkit. So we just start it. Okay, now we start this rootkit, and now we start to hide the calculator. The PID is 754. Okay, so yeah, we can hide the calculator now. So calculator is still here, so it still. Never live demo. 我现在不在一起。It's never happened. First time. 哦，不要这边。All right, so let's continue. The VM recover, and let's keep continue our presentation. So, then we start to discuss user model kit, and like I mentioned that the above that we present a way to completely make process invisible. So, but from the demo, there is actually a very easy way to see the invisible process from user mode. All right, give me one more chance. I'm sorry. Okay, so load. Okay, now calculator is disappear, but currently it is invisible from kernel mode. But actually, there's a user mode tool, and can easily find this process because it is invisible in kernel mode, but from user mode. It is very easily to be detected because of LaunchD and LaunchCTL. And so LaunchD is monitor all process creation and termination. So it also maintain a job list, text list in user mode. So from LaunchD, you can see all process information. So hiding process from kernel mode is not enough, because launchd can tell you everything. So this is launchctl list. So you can see all the list, all the tasks from launchd. No relation to kernel, just purely user mode. Okay, so this is the way we disclose in Black Hat Asia that unlink job launchd in launchd. And but in 10.10 there is a very big change. That there is in 10.9 each user has a launchd, but in 10.10 there is only one launchd. So the work we redo the work again. So there are a lot of change in launchd. And also like the address, I show here the address. This is the task address, but in 10.10 this is removed, so no address information. It's even more difficult to hack. Okay, so here's the way to we had a dirty hack to modify launchd, but basically the idea is try to find launchd, the job list in the launchd, and try to unlink. So it still works. And yeah, here's some detail that I think we can just see demo. Okay, so we continue in this scenario. So currently we can see invisible calculator from launchctl, right? So now I try to hide this process from user mode. Okay, so now we use launchctl again to see it is invisible. So now from kernel mode, from user mode, the process is completely invisible. It's still here. Okay, so then we also implement a tool to detect this. We call it xvvxu-u, mean user mode. And here, as you can see here, it gives an alert if it found that if there is an unlinked job in launchd, it will give a warning. Okay. All right. So then I would like to introduce our tool, System Virtuality Verifier for Mac OS X. It is a complete kernel verifier for Mac OS X. And the naming idea is actually from here, from Joanna Rukoska. She published SVV back to 2006. And the tool is actually designed for Windows kernel verification. And so our tool is very similar. The idea is very similar to this. So we use the similar name and plus and X. So we call it SVVX. Okay, here is the design concept that we detect all. Basically, we detect all possible hooks that we already know. Probably there are some hooks that we don't know yet, but in this tool we implement everything to detect every possible hook that we can detect. So, yeah, like IDT, system code table, Mac trap, kernel function, inline hook, that we all give it a check. And also, not only check hooks, we also check the consistency between kernel file and memory, because usually many rootkit will like update kernel functions, update kernel data, update kernel structures to try to manipulate with kernel. So we also check the consistency of kernel and kernel file and memory. So the first, we check basic kernel hooks like IDT, system call, make track, trap. This is the most basic hooks. And then we check kernel authorization. Kernel authorization allows third-party kernel developers to authorize actions within kernel and modify authorization decisions and extend the kernel authorization landscape. So many developers can use this mechanism to implement some policy check or some. It can do some actions when some file drop or open file, and so it is usually used by antivirus software. So antivirus software, most of antivirus software is use this kernel authorization to plug their file scanning, to trigger their file scanning. And so just use this API to register authorization scope. And it is used, it is a flexible design and used most usually used by security software. But it can be used by security software, but it also can be abused. So for Windows developer, that there is a very similar API here. Similar functions. Okay, then we also check network filter, of course. There are two major places that you can hook network behavior, network data. So the first is KPI IP filter, and the second is KPI socket filter. These two places, we see firewall software, security software, they hook this API to check network traffic. So this is similar to NDIS driver, NDIS filter in Windows. So of course, we check this for malicious hooks. And there is also very huge part in macOS kernel. It is trusted BSD policy. Trusted BSD Mac framework first shipped in FreeBSD 5. Version 5, and so it's many years ago. So it supports several policy modules for developers to extend control and security capabilities. So using Trusted BSD, you can easily implement your security policy. Like you want to check something at some point, you can do something. So it also used a lot by Apple. So Apple used this to implement application sandbox and time machine and other functions. So Mac used this a lot. Apple used this a lot to implement some functions. And so of course security software can use this, and bad guys can also use this. So checking this trusted BSD policy hook is also the important things we have to check. So we check the structure here to see the trusted BSD. Is there any new or abnormal new policies there? Then we will show this warning. Okay, then there are a lot of things you will have to check. So Mac is fundamental of Mac OS kernel. So and there is many subsystems. So those subsystems in charge of many important functions in Mac kernel. So communication between these subsystems is through MIG. It's kind of you can think it as RPC mechanism to do communication. So, but in MIG subsystem, you can see from this structure, you can plug subsystems here. So, if you want to do malicious things, then we can intercept communications from here, or we can plus new subsystems. So yeah, the communication is easy to be hooked if you using this. So SVVX also checks abnormal MIG communication, abnormal MIG hooks here. Okay, and then we also check unlinked kernel module. After kernel module loaded to kernel, and it managed by some data structure, and it could be unlinked as well. So yeah, our rootkit implement this function. We try to hide ourselves. So if you use the standard way like KEXT stat to see kernel modules, you cannot see our rootkit. So because we use some tricks to hide ourselves. Yeah. So check this kind of invisible kernel module is also important. Okay. So yeah. That's the demo, and here is a list that the things we check, the tool check. Yeah, because and in this scenario, we already installed our rootkit, right? So we just run this tool to check this rootkit. And the calculator is still invisible. Yeah, you can see it, but yeah, system cannot see it. Okay. Okay, so after launch this tool, and you can see the first thing is check kernel module, and here check unlink. Actually, check unlink kernel module. So our kernel module is loaded, right? But it is unlinked, and here it shows a warning that we found SVVX found unlinked module, and the address and related information will be shown here. Okay, and here because we grant our rootkit also grant host privilege to our to the process. So here is to the user. So here is check abnormal host privilege. Yeah. So we will also check this. If there is a special normal user with host privilege, we will also show this. And yeah, here we also check system call, make trap table, IDD table, and no hooks here. So nothing here. And the next part is trusted BSD hook, right? And we found some trust BSD hook. So the first one is safety net for time machine. So it is Apple's time machine. So time machine is using trusted BSD to implement. And the second one is Apple mobile file integrity. It is also used trusted BSD to implement. And the third one is seatbelt sandbox policy, also similar. Okay. And in this part, we check network filters. And you can see Apple using this circuit filter to implement the firewall, application firewall. Yeah. This is normal hooks. But we just show this to show that we can check this kind of hook. It is not malicious. Yeah, it is also application hooks. Okay. So I will like to show you more detailed logs that as a sample. Yeah, here we already show you unlinked kernel module. And if system code got hooked, we will also alert here, like this. And yeah, we are considering to hide this detailed information. Only if you type like -v, you can see this. Yeah, but yeah, currently we show all related information for developers, for researchers. Okay, here I would also like to show you, here's network filter check. And this is, we see the hook by Little Snitch software, which is a firewall software on macOS. So the software also uses this hook. Okay, here this part is Saki filter. And then IP filter. Let's see who hook IP filter. Okay. Yeah, we can see this. Yeah, this. Yeah, this. There is a. Yeah. It's textbook from Mac Hacker's Handbook. It's demonstration. It's a POC tool from POC toolkit from a book. Okay, and here is also MIG hook. After we got the hook, so we will show this. This is also that the hook is from samples. Kernel authorization. And if you install some antivirus software, you can see some antivirus software using kernel authorization to trigger file scan. And also, some kernel inline hook, we use this approach to detect kernel inline hook. We verify the function. Is it different from files and memory? If the function is different, the code is different, we will give it a warning. We will show this function, show the address, this function is got modified or got hooked. Yeah, so. Okay, so summary. Here is the tools today we used. The first one is XPRC kit, and this is our kernel module kit. And we are going to open source this tool. And there are several functions that this rootkit do. The first is it will install a kernel module. We call it true hide kernel module for process hiding. And then we will bypass. This tool will, after you execute this tool, it will bypass signature verification. You won't get any warnings from system. You can just install this kernel module. It is rootkit. And also, this rootkit will grant host privilege to you. So you, after run this, you can start to load kernel modules and doing some privileged things. And also, it will hide itself. So when you type kxt stat, you will not see this kernel module. Yeah. So it is simple that you can start to try. And probably if you have any rootkit scanner, you can try to scan this rootkit. And then XPRC kit-u is we use this tool to unlink job from user mode from launch D. Yeah, so unlink job in launch D. And also the next is SVVX. Yeah, I'll just show you. It's the kernel system integrity check. Yeah, so this tool we are also going to release for you for free. Yeah, and the last one is SVVX-u. This tool is in charge of user mode process hiding checking. Yeah, it will check is there any abnormal situation in launch D. Okay, so conclusion. The first things I would like to mention is unsigned kernel module can still be loaded into kernel. I've demoed. And also various possibility to implement Mac OS X rootkit. Yeah, as you can see that I show there are a lot of possibilities to do hook. So implement rootkit is not difficult. Yeah, so hooks, direct canonical object modification or code modification, inline hook. There are several ways to implement Mac OS rootkit. So it is possible. Yeah. And sometimes problems are not only in kernel. Yeah, so user mode might have some problems, might have some user mode rootkit. Yeah, so you also have to take care about the user mode. Yeah, and then we released this tool. It's a brand new tool to scan rootkit on Mac OS X, including the latest version. Mac OS we support Mac OS Yosemite. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, if you have any question, you can. Yeah, we will release the tool to this blog, and also my Twitter. I will release related information. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Any question? Or it seems I run out of time. So. Oh yeah, please. The structure, data structure and kernel internals, I think is different from Linux. So this can also only support Mac OS. But the similar idea, similar concept, I think it could be implemented as well in Linux. But just you have to find what it looks like and what kind of hook they have, but the idea is similar. All right, thank you very much.